Wordshop. Hey, I'm Nathaniel Gadsden, and we appreciate you checking us out here on Facebook Live and especially here on this platform, The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg. Thank you so much for supporting The Voice and also for supporting this program. You know, we are on every Friday night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m., and we try to bring you the best in conversation around writing. And, the Wordshop, if you don't know, it's been around since 1977 when I first created the Writers Wordshop. The official title is Nathaniel Gadsden's Writers Wordshop. We are a 501c3 organization, and we do a lot of things in the community that we hope are uplifting to community. And we've made some really good connections here in the Harrisburg area and also beyond. And we're hoping that we can continue to, spread out and to do. And, we hope that you'll just continue to join us and enjoy the programs that we provide. So, for example, right now, we have a call out for our magazine. We have an online magazine that's absolutely free. And you can be a contributor to the magazine by sending in an article or, some poetry or essay. You can also run an ad if you want to, and the ads are very inexpensive to run. But we appreciate the ads because the ads help to offset the cost of the production itself. And I want to thank Sarita Henderson, who is putting it all together for us every month, and also Nicole Wilkerson, who works the ads and helps to promote the magazine. And the magazine has been well received. We've had our first edition out in this month, July, and there you go. You see our official poster, and you see at the bottom, if you want to submit something, you send it to Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. Again, it's Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. And, we always say that, the 15th of the month is like a deadline, but the truth of the matter is we're wide open. If you want to send something on Monday or Tuesday, we will accept it as long as we have, the whole space and all that kind of stuff to put it in. If we can't get it in this month, we'll get it next month. But I do know that there's still some availability for this month. So if you'd like to send something in, poetry, short story, and if it's a short story, it should be no longer than 1,500 words or less. And, we'd love to have you submit your work. It's a good way of being published and letting your writings be seen by others. And it's just a good way of joining into the writing community, contributing to the Writers Wordshop magazine. Again, it's strictly online, but a lot of people have enjoyed it. We heard all the way from China with Joe Summers, who said he really enjoyed the magazine, thought it was very professional. And we were so pleased to hear from Brother Joe. He's doing great things halfway around the world over there in China. And we are just pleased to know him. He's a great author himself. In fact, he's put out some children's books. And he also did a few books around, Christianity, because he is a pastor as well. And so he's a writer and he's doing great stuff. And just glad to know that he also saw the magazine, and hopefully he'll continue to share it in other people. He does a lot of work in Africa, and especially in Kenya and other parts. And so hopefully he'll continue to help, spread the word around the world. And you too. Hopefully you'll not only check it out, and you can see it on my page on Facebook. Just, scroll down to Nathaniel Gadsden, and then scroll down and you'll see the magazine there. And also Nicole Wilkerson. She has a page called Nicole is Making It Happen. Just go to Nicole Wilkerson. And of course, Sarita Henderson, her page as well, Cerita Henderson. And, so you can find the magazine all over the place. Hey, tonight I want to do a special salute to Julia Mallory. Julia is an outstanding young lady who, has been a member of and a friend to the Writers Wordshop for years. She is doing outstanding work in our community in all kinds of ways. She is an educator in her own right, and she's a great writer. She also created something called Black Mermaids, and this is one of her books that I'm going to be sharing tonight. Let me get it straight here. And again, it's a book, Black Mermaids, and she is doing a lot of work, a lot of readings and other things around the country. She does a lot of grief work. And so, and I don't know if you can see her picture on here. Let me see. Here's a picture of her. She's a beautiful young lady who is just very, very accomplished, has her bachelor's and master's degrees, and, and she's experienced some tragedy of her own, the loss of her son. And that, of course, has been a major thing in her life. but she's taken that tragedy and she's turned it into blessing to others who are dealing with grief. So she does a lot of work around grief workshops. And, I just can't keep up with it. She's doing so much good stuff. But I ran across her book and I thought, you know what? I want to pick this up and read some of her works. I can't do it justice the way she would, but at least I can share with you some of her words. And then also you can go on Amazon, I'm sure, and find this book and the other books that she has out called Black Mermaids. And that is the name of her organization too, by the way. Also, we'll probably have other people come on board. We usually have people like Neil Owens, who's out of North Carolina, great novelist, doing all kinds of great writings. And he's doing some a book on storytelling, where he has a number of different stories in this one collection of his that's going to be coming out very soon. And he's a great writer. He does good stuff and keeps you, riveted as you're listening to his reading of his work. We have people like Dr. Dan Snowden, who's right here in Harrisburg. And Dan is someone who has his own style. He's a scientist, actually, but he discovered the Writer's Workshop. He's hung in there with us for years now. And we're, encouraging him to publish because he has a wonderful rhyming scheme and he does really good work. Smart guy. Wendy Nocherione, one of the best around. She's an excellent, performance poet and poet, a spoken word artist. And you do want to hear her work. She does great work. She's a storyteller, as I tell her all the time. As a poet, she's a storyteller. And so Ro Brady, who recently moved out of the Harrisburg area, is now down in Washington, D.C. Ro's an outstanding author as well as poet. She has written a number of novellas, novels, and also she's working on some other platforms where she's continuously telling the story. It's an online piece that she does. She is really, really good. Queenie Clem, we haven't heard from in a while, but Queenie is a platform builder for writers, especially writers of color, African-American writers in particular. And I've appeared on many of her platforms, and also she's highlighted my book and done different things for me. So I really appreciate the work that she's doing. In fact, they have something coming up, I think, tomorrow with her on the 15th. Yeah, that's tomorrow. So anyhow, we'll be talking to Queenie Clem, and she hopefully will maybe, resurface and tell us about some of the things that she's doing, because anyone who's a writer, especially, like I said, a writer of color, and she really makes it possible for you to have your works put out there and highlighted so that people know that you exist. And she does a great job at that, and very, very reasonable in terms of her fees. And I know I'm missing people here, but there's so many good folks who come on. Oh, my buddy out of New York City. She does a tremendous work. She was our guest speaker, in fact, just a couple months ago. And she came down, and she's an artist as well as, a poet. And I'm still talking because right now I'm just slipping her name, and I know her very, very well. But anyhow, oh my goodness, it's just gonna hit me in a second. But anyhow, she hopefully will come on tonight. And she's from Trinidad and Tobago, and she always does a wonderful reading of her works. And I'm looking her up as we speak here. But we have so many people. I don't try to remember all the names because I'm getting old now, and it just happens every now and then. Stuff like that, pops up. But we do have some great folks who come on to the Writers Workshop. Now, here's the thing: we'd love to have you come on as well. And one of the things we do is we ask that you, if you come on, that you become on as a member. We know that you're coming on, and then we make a platform for you to come on. We've done that in the recent past, in the last year, because we've had some people who want to come on and, disrupt things and all that kind of stuff. So, we pick and choose who comes on, but we really would love to have everyone who wants to share their works, be a writer, to come on and do just that. We had Christine Titi on a couple of weeks ago. Boy, was she great. And then last week, we had on the young people from the True program, which we do every single first Friday of the month that we can. And they come on and they read their own poetry and talk about the work that they do as True. True deals with tobacco reduction in education, especially amongst young people, how, severe tobacco is in terms of what it does to our health. And also when, the tobacco industry, whoever gets us hooked at a very early age, they can have us for the rest of our lives. And, all kinds of things set in, emphysema, cancer, all kinds of things. So people have to be real careful about that smoking, even though millions of people smoke. but the True program is doing a great job under the leadership of some great adults down there, and we work with them. Also, I'm really pleased to tell you that we are on our way to Boston, Massachusetts, along with the NAACP AXO program. And thanks to Brother Kaba Brunson, who's really the spearhead here in the Harrisburg area and throughout Pennsylvania. He is the point person for the NAACP AXO program. And AXO stands for Afro Academic Cultural Technological Scientific Olympics. And I am along with my wife, Patricia, we are the chairs of the Judges Committee. And then we work with, AXO by going on to the national competition as chaperones. And we're looking forward to going again this year and working with, Kaba and Damali and others from his family. And having a great time with those young scholars who have distinguished themselves as gold medal winners on the local level. And now they'll be going to compete on the national level. Last year, we brought home a gold medal in science, thanks to Madison Stokes, who really just knocked it out of the park. She won the gold medal in science for her project that dealt with COVID and the long-term effects that COVID can have. We also brought home a bronze medal in traditional dance, thanks to Sani, whose parents are out of Nigeria. And she did a tremendous dance. And she came in third place on the national level. And there were a lot of great dancers, but she knocked it out of the park. And then we had a young lady who won an essay contest. She was one of 40 young women that was selected from around the country to receive a $10,000 scholarship. And she's currently a sophomore out in the Pittsburgh area going to college, as is Madison Stokes. She's out in the Pittsburgh area too, going to college out that way. And they're doing great work, both of them, as we sit here and speak. So, just what can I tell you? And then Tasani is still a senior. She's actually won a gold medal again, and she will be going to Boston with us in a couple of weeks here. So Wordshop, we're involved. We're doing some things. We have programs at the State Museum. We have one coming up very soon. In fact, it'll be in October, and it'll be our African American Storytelling Festival. We're also working with the Police Athletic League, and we're hoping that in October as well, we'll be doing a major poetry contest for young people down at the Forum, which holds a lot of folks. That holds close to 2,000 people. And so we're hoping to pack that place out, have a wonderful, competition that will span the entire Dauphin County, all the schools in Dauphin County, which there are a lot, Pennsylvania. And hopefully those folks will come forth and compete for some prize money. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And so that's in the works right now as we speak. We also have our signature program, which is our annual pre-Kwanzaa celebration. We're hoping to have that the second Saturday in December. And we hope that we can have it again at the Harrisburg High School gymnasium, which was fantastic for us last year. And we hope to bring in some major acts, such as Mathilda Thomas, who's been with us a number of times. She's a stilt walker, a storyteller, par excellence. She is really, really good and brings the energy. And then we have the Women in African Dance community, the drummers from the studio, Solomon Studios over there in Camp Hill, led by Lee Wasaski. We have, the fashion show with Andrea Fulton. They're celebrating 30 years of existence. And in those 30 years, they've always been a part of the Kwanzaa Festival, even before we took it over, we being Pat and I. And so they bring the thunder because people love their fashion show. Hats off to Andrea Fulton and all the people that support her program. And then, all the vendors. We have vendors. My wife does an awards program, which she honors all of the members of our society who live up to the principles of Kwanzaa, the Nguza Saba. And then she picks that one person that becomes like the torchbearer for all of the principles for that particular year. So it's always an exciting time. We have a lot of fun, and we hope that you will, just continue to look out for the Writers Workshop and all that we do. Okay. All right. And again, if you would like to be a part of this broadcast, we'd love to have you come on. Just simply reach out to me. My number is area code 717-608-2312. And, I want to thank people like Dr. Maurice Henderson. Oh, there you go. There's our flyer. And I want to thank Brother Chris Thomas, who was the founder and head of the Voice 17104 Harrisburg. He creates our flyers for us, and I love that flyer. And you see the phone number on there. You see my email as well. And if you want to come on and be a part of it, we'd love to have you. And we're always looking for guests to come on and give their works, and also persons who are the mainstay who just come on the Wordshop. They always come on and they read, and we have a good time. The other feature to this, if you've never been on Friday nights before, is that Brother Chris will bring up some of the most outstanding videos that he finds, and then presents those videos during the course of the program. And so we usually have at least 4 that are in the can. Sometimes we don't get to all 4 of them because we get to moving and talking. But whatever video he pulls up has always been a quality, and we appreciate that very, very much. I'm going to read a couple pieces here. She has some really short ones and some longer ones, pieces that is. Again, I'm going to highlight the works tonight of Julia Mallory. And I asked Brother Chris if he can actually find maybe if there's a video out there of her presentation. I'd like for you to see her and hear her. But look at this real small piece here. It's called Baggage. She says, the past unresolved says, you don't have to buy my ticket. I ride for free. Say that again. The past unresolved says, you don't have to buy my ticket. I ride for free. Unresolved past. Isn't that something? It's gonna be there, folks. It's gonna ride for free. I like that. Yeah, and I heard that, Brother Chris. I heard you come in on that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a pretty powerful piece for such a short, poem, right?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. I like that. I like that. Here's a longer piece, and it's interesting. The title is called Fast-Tailed Girls. Fast-Tailed Girls. Sound like something from the grandmom and the aunts that I remember back in the day. It says, when you are 12 and your mom says, I don't like them fast-tailed girls you be hanging with. And you want to say, but she ain't fast, but you aren't supposed to talk back. Can't tell your mom that she ain't having sex and ain't even kissed a boy. Really, that puberty is playing a mean trick on her, that being thick ain't her fault, that it's horrible when the boys and men catcall the way their eyes crawl over her covered places, and that there ain't even safety in numbers. So y'all take the back ways to avoid their faces. Them fast-tailed girls trying to outrun childhood, trying to find their version of love. Them fast-tailed girls trying to outrun trauma, trying to make sense of her brother's condoms while she can't even say sex, trying to shake loose their skin, battling blows after questions go unanswered, like where the blank have you been? Them fast-tailed girls trying to outrun memories of being molested, wondering why no one ever protected them. And when you are 12 and your mom says, I don't like them fast-tailed girls you be hanging with, and you want to say, I hope she is so fast that she outruns this blink, blink, and takes me with her. That's a good piece. And takes me with her. This is Julia Mallory, and it's a piece called Them Fast-Tailed Girls. Sometimes we see, and she said puberty was playing a trick on her. In other words, she was grown and developed too fast. And the men, the young boys, the men and the young boys, they don't care. All they see is, the outer shell. They don't see the inner being who is terrified and traumatized and who's still just a little girl in their mind, but they're being pursued as if they are someone who understands, someone who sees. And it's like, wow. And we have too much of that going on in our community. And a lot of times when they are girls and young like that, they don't speak up. They don't know what to say. And they feel like it's their fault. So we have to be careful. My wife and I, we've raised 4 daughters and we have 2 sons. We've seen them all grow, and they're grown people now. But don't think for a minute, we haven't been concerned about who they're home with and what they do and all of that good stuff. And none of our kids have ever been perfect. And I'm sure none of yours has as well. So we all try our best to keep them on the straight and narrow and that they don't go down the wrong path. But the main thing we want to make sure is that they understand that they are loved and protected. Dad's going to be there. Mom's going to be there. We made mistakes too, but we want to make sure that you don't make mistakes 3. And that's what it's all about. We have to be really, really vigilant and understand that, sometimes those fast-tailed girls aren't that fast at all. They're simply trying to outrun their trauma. Ain't that something? Simply trying to outrun their trauma. And it is even worse when mama don't believe your trauma. And we've seen enough stories and read enough books to know that that happens as well. Because mama could be so taken back by him, whoever he may be, that they want to look beyond the obvious. And one of the movies that Tyler Perry did was the one where he has, what's her name? Out of Howard University. I'm gonna say Triana. I'll mess up her name, but anyhow, she's a great actress, and she has these, nieces and a couple nephews, a niece and a couple nephews that come, and all of a sudden they're staying with her. And she really don't want them there because she got this guy she's running with who's really a married man. And then all of a sudden the preacher wants her to take in this guy who happens to be Hispanic, and he's kind of down and out in his luck. He happens to be in the house, and she's just trying to figure it all out. And then she has her own problems of thinking about who she is. And next thing you know, there's a molestation scene, or at least attempted molestation scene, between her quote unquote boyfriend, Trezana. Is that her name? Trezana, yeah, but anyhow. So and then Hispanic guy steps in and really does this guy up. And when the young girl says he tried to attack me, he was like, who you gonna believe? Her or me? She's coming on to me. And it made her flash back in her mind, as to something that happened to her the same way. She knew immediately that the young girl was telling the truth, but she made it seem as if she was taking his side, only to get him by herself so she could confront him. That stuff plays itself out all the time. T.D. Jakes had a movie that's similar to that, where the young girl, tried to tell mom what was going on, and mom was like, don't you ever say something like that again, don't you? And mom wanted to believe him and not her, even though she was only 10 or 12 years old. How dare you say something like that, So anyhow, powerful piece. Julia is a great writer, and she captures things. And I like the way she captured those two pieces. So anyhow, little small pieces, that make you think. And I think that's what this is all about. Here's another little small piece. It's just small on the page. It says broken. That's the title. Listen to this. They are not used to loving women that are whole, women that planted flowers in their scars. They are used to loving women that are fractured, trying to bandage their brokenness with love. Say it again in case you missed it. Broken. They are not used to loving women that are whole, women that planted flowers in their scars. They're used to loving women that are fractured, trying to bandage their brokenness with love. Man, Julia captures a powerful sentiment with just a few lines. And it's amazing when you think back, planting flowers in their scars. Why'd she come up with that? You had these scars, but you're trying to cover them up with flowers. How do you do that? And some people actually try. They try hard. Says they, meaning whoever they are, those guys, right, are used to loving women that are fractured. Trying to bandage their brokenness with love. Trying to bandage their brokenness with love. Fractured women trying to bandage their brokenness with love. There's a whole bunch of women out there right now who are probably nodding their head saying, well, I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about. If I could just be loved, and looking for the right guy in all the wrong places happens way too often. And we wonder, how do so many wrong guys step into situations that should be right, but they're not right at all? It happens. They see it. They see the brokenness, the fracture, and here they come, and they seep right in. Be careful. Be careful that you don't make yourself a victim by being too broken and unable to cover those scars with flowers. Amen. Good pieces, good pieces. So we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. Again, let me say to you that I hope that you will, take to heart, the offer to submit to the Writers Wordshop online magazine. So easy to do. All you got to do is send your poetry, your prose, your essay, your short story into Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. I'm telling you, you'll love it because we're going to send it all over the place. It's online. So we have a chance to send it out and people have a chance to read your works. And hey, who knows? Who knows who may discover that what you're saying. So anyhow, and if you want to advertise, it's a great way of advertising as well. Our ads are very, very inexpensive, well crafted. If you don't know how to put together an ad, we have a person, Sarita Henderson, who will put together the ad for you at a very low cost and then help you to, spread it out. Okay. So we try to be a full service entity here, and we have a great team to make that happen. We speak also to an event that we went to just last week, which was really a lot of fun. We went to something called the Denim and Diamond Award Ceremony. Denim, like denim jeans, and Diamond Award Ceremony. They honored 10 women from the community, and all of them were extremely well deserving. I knew most of them, but not all of them. Boy, when you hear the resumes and the work that these women have been involved in, and the things that they've done, it's like, wow. Well, Nicole Wilkerson, who's our events coordinator, not exclusively for the workshop, but she works very closely with the Writers Workshop. She was honored, and rightfully so, because boy, she has the right temperament, the skill, the knowledge. Her background is solid, and boy, we were so glad to see her being honored. And so, if you go on her page or my page, you'll see Nicole Wilkerson. There she goes. Look at that. That's a beautiful picture of her too. That's a wonderful outfit she had on too, by the way. And I'm sure she don't mind me telling that Andrea Fulton designed all those sparkles and stuff that you see. She put that on her outfit and made that happen very, very quickly. And she looks spectacular in person. So that's Nicole Wilkerson. Hats off to her. We were so glad to see her honored and well deserved. Her mother, in fact, was there along with her. I think it was her cousin who was there as well. And all of them just a beautiful family. And so just a lot of fun. Now that's Victoria Pitts. Vicki Pitts, by the way, she was honored. She is also a major friend of the Writers Workshop and this entire community because she takes pictures everywhere. And by the way, she was selected as the Denim Diamond of the Year. In other words, out of the 10 women, they took one person who they thought they would lift up to be the Woman of the Year, and that was Victoria Pitts. And I'm telling you, everyone in that room was like, yep, she deserves it. Victoria takes pictures. She goes around to all of the events, and she is so giving. And, she never asks for anything. I always pay her something because she's just too worth it. I'm sure everybody does. But boy, does she have a wonderful spirit, a great smile. And even through the great tragedy, loss of her husband, which happened just a year ago, they were married for years. And both of them had the same spirit, just real good people. And unfortunately, he transitioned, went home to be with the Lord. But she has never stopped. She's continued to do what she has done so well. And that's a great picture there. Look at that. Got my big old belly standing up in there. But that's my wife to my right. And then there's, of course, Nicole and Victoria. And we really enjoyed that event. Well put together by Deborah Lynn. Deborah Lynn has her own spot out there at the Colonial Park Mall. I forget the exact title of it, but she is opening up her event, spot for the entire community. And we had a wonderful time out there for Mother's Day, pre-Mother's Day celebration. And Deborah Lynn was the one who was the spearhead behind this particular, program. Okay, now you see all of the women. There they go. Every last one of them. Look at that, beautiful as they can be. And I'm telling you, all of them are very, very well deserving. And you can see the diversity, the smiles and all that. Great picture, great picture. Brother Chris, you are on it, man. I'll tell you, boy, that's a great picture there. Denim and diamonds. Yeah, I like that. So good stuff. So anyhow, that was last Saturday, like I said, and we, went out and had a great time. Food was excellent too, by the way. And the spirit, the whole thing was just it was first class, well put together. Anyhow, hats off to them. There was something else too that we partook of. But anyhow, that was good enough. Okay, that right there was good enough. We had a great time with it. I'm going to ask Brother Chris. I know the time is probably clicking on this. I'm always amazed at how time flies. It's 7:29. If we can maybe have our first video up for tonight and just kind of see what's kicking here. Like I said, we usually do about 3 or 4 videos in a particular Friday. Oh, she got Julie. He got Julie up already. This is great. So this is Julie and Mallory, folks.
So I'm going to read this poem, which is called Cambay, which is the Mende word for grave. 2 to 1. Measure the rice, measure the water, don't bother it but one time. Cover it, turn the fire into a whisper. Let it do what it's gonna do. Every time you peek, a bit of magic escape. The steam, a secret, a stir, like a meddlesome in-law to cleaving newlyweds. Strand over strand, a secret chamber, African women hiding rice in their hair. Why y'all put sugar in everything? Sierra Leone to Georgia, black women hiding a song in their hearts. In Georgia, in a rice field, captives brave gators and acts where its hid once was. And that is Cambay. And again, that.
Isn't she beautiful? Just absolutely gorgeous woman, and also a just a poet that needs to be discovered by more people. I think she just crafts everything so well, and always has. And I'm just glad to know that she's been a part of our, legacy for a long time, the Writers Workshop. And so, hats off to Julie Mallory. We're going to continue to explore her more tonight. And there may be some other things out there. I don't know, Chris, if you can find anything else. I'm not trying to put you to work, brother, but if you can find something, that'd be great. I just love to hear her read her work. And, one of the things she's dealing with, again, is, tragic loss of her son. But she's done a lot of grief work. So if you have not heard of her and you don't know about her work, you may want to check her out. Go to, Julia Mallory online, look up Black Mermaids, and you may find some of the work she's doing. And I know she did something recently, I think it was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, something about a grief garden, I think it was called. I don't think it was her idea, but she was part of it, I'm pretty sure. And so, she's doing great work. So, check out her poetry because her words are so powerful, but also check out her work. Her body of work is just as powerful. Brother Chris and I actually collaborated on some videos as well. And they were fun videos because he sliced into so many great dancing scenes and stuff like that. And I have some other ideas in mind. So we're going to sit down and collaborate on some more things we want to do and really put together a collection of some videos and stuff. Don't sleep on Keontae Ricks either. Keontae Ricks, by the way, if you go to his webpage, Keontae is doing some really interesting videos. And he's a very good wordsmith, very good poet, spoken word artist. And, you want to check him out. He's a man about community, does a lot of great work. And he's been fighting the good fight against the, what he calls the corrupt criminal justice system, because he says that, he was wrongly incarcerated himself for a number of years and then finally exonerated. And so he's been fighting the whole, thing of trying to be, rightly compensated for those years lost. But he's an artist. He really is someone who has a tremendous voice. He's doing great work as well. And he lives right here in Harrisburg. I think grew up in Buffalo, New York. But Keontae is all that. And he's someone who's serious about, his work. So check him out. In fact, let me see what we got here. Okay, there you go. All right. I'm blessed. I don't know is that a video piece that you can, he has so many of these days.
Yes, sir. He has a few on there if you want me to pull one up, sir.
Yeah, if you will. Why don't you pull one up so we can hear a little bit of his voice? That'd be great. Thank you. Excellent. Really, he's been doing some stuff and he's very creative with his videos as well. I noticed, and he puts them on Facebook. And so he's serious about the craft. I do want to take hats off to a group of people, and I know I'm not going to have the names right. It took place last week, and they did like 4 or 5 days. It was really ambitious, and they didn't get the kind of crowd they wanted. One, the rains really interrupted a lot of what was supposed to happen, but folks that came out were blessed, and folks who watched it on Facebook were blessed. And it had everything to do with stopping the violence and all of the nonsense that goes on in our community. And so it was it was a good effort, and it was well worth the effort. 4 or 5 days was probably too ambitious, but at least you had somebody trying to do something that would better our community, and that should be good enough. And I think what was it called? Was it like Blind Justice or something like that? But anybody who knew about Sam Cooke, the great singer and activist, his son was here, and he's the man of age himself now. But he really sung a lot like his father. He did Change Is Gonna Come and some other songs, I believe. But he spoke at the rally, and it was over at Reservoir Park at the band shell. It started at like 9 in the morning and went to I think 4 or 5 or something like that in the afternoon, which is really ambitious. But they did it, and I was able to go over a few times. Didn't go down front. My wife and I, we stayed up top the hill there because just so much to go up and down that. And you start getting older, we're like, okay. But anyhow, we did enjoy what we saw, and thought that everybody that got on that stage and tried to do their thing, did a great job. So hats off to them. And I wish I could call the brother's name, but I do know he was actually blinded, I believe, by a senseless act of violence.
Ricky
And
Banks, Dr.
Ricky
Gadsden.
Banks, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Chris. Ricky Banks, okay. And he and I am correct, right, that he is a brother that lost his sight due to violence?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Yeah, so hats off to him. He had I want to say the vision of putting it together, but the foresight and and then he rallied a number of people around him, and folks kept the stage alive each day as much as they could, even through the rain. They tried to overcome the rain, and whenever the rain stopped, they did what they could do. They had DJs and speakers and did everything. So that was great stuff. Oh, that's him? Okay, that's the brother right there. It's Ricky. And he, like I said, he is blind, but he had that vision of wanting to do something that would make this community a better place and speak to the issue of senseless violence in our community, which we have got to address. We have got to figure out how to put these guns down. I just saw a statistic that said nationwide, this year we've had more mass shootings. That's when you have like 3 or 4 people at least shot in a single incident than we've ever had before in this country. Mass shootings are just out of control. And before I came on tonight, I saw on that video something was just incredible. It caught these black men that at a I don't know if it was a bar, but it was some kind of store or facility. This drive-by rear car comes by, shoots these guys. You see them actually get shot and fall down, and then you see these other guys, 2 of them rush out, and they start shooting at the car. And the one guy runs out to the street, and he's really shooting, but all of a sudden he gets shot. Someone in the car shot back and actually hit him. He doubles over, he falls down, he gets up, runs back over. He keeps shooting, but then he collapses. And so you had these 4 guys who, I don't know if they all died, but they were, all laid out, and others were, just wounded. I mean, it's just an incredible scene to see it just happen. When these guys come by and just do a drive-by and just senselessly shoot these guys, and the camera caught it off. It's like, who does that? Why? Why would you do it? What's going on with that, folks? And those were like automatic weapons too. There's no way they could have just had a single shot. I mean, he would just mow them down. Unbelievable. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I'm sure that somebody's figured it out. I hope I never do. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care who's doing it, so got to speak up. So again, hats off to Brother Ricky and all those persons who put forth the effort to do something that would be significant and address the issue of violence in our community. On a happier note, there was a big, a beautiful playground open up, over at Reservoir Park. I forget what they call it. Is it Sesame Street or something? I don't know the name of it, but I mean, people come from all over the place, and they really put thousands, not a few $1 million into this park. And it's been, someone says 7 or 8 years in the works to get this done, and it was well worth the wait. So hats off to the mayor and all the people who put forth the effort to make this happen. And some of the people who started this project, they're not even around anymore, but they had the vision and they wanted to see this happen. And now Reservoir Park has this wonderful, wonderful facility. There you go. Look at that. That's a major slide there. And you'll see people from all walks of life, up there, really taking advantage of this fantastic park. And they'll see this now and see how it was. It was always a nice place, but it didn't have none of this though. And now it is really something that kids and families can enjoy, have a lot of fun too. And what's it called? It's the grand opening of the
Shoots and Ladders Playground.
Shoots and Ladders. Okay, Shoots and Ladders Playground. Man, oh man, good stuff. Yeah, I hope that the community really rallies around keeping it clean and not vandalized and all that kind of stuff. Just really enjoy having that park there. And again, hats off to everybody. Now, having said that, we did lose a landmark. Okay, there you go. That was the opening. That's the Mayor Wanda Williams talking at the podium. You can see all of the folks standing there. And look at this slide. Isn't that cool? Really cool. Oh my goodness, what's this thing? Oh, ropes. Okay, I guess you can go up and walk through the ropes, man. Come on now. Now that's something that's really nice, especially for Harrisburg to have that kind of effort and that kind of activity, that kind of facility, let's say. I saw Spider-Man up in there. Wait a minute now. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Great pictures too. Thank you, Brother Chris. Great pictures. Having said that, though, we did almost lose a landmark. We didn't, quite lose it, which is great. But it was greatly damaged. It's called the Broad Street Market. It opened in 1863. Do you hear me? 1863. That thing is 160 years old. It's been a marketplace in Harrisburg all those years, and it has two parts to it. The part that's closest to what we call 6th Street in Harrisburg, and the part that's closest to 3rd Street. So it's two major buildings, and in between there's a gap where people have vendings and do all kinds of things, some dance at times, entertainment, whatever. But it's been the hub. I used to live right on Cumberland Street, literally 1 block up, and so we lived in the Broad Street Market. Every day that was open, you found a reason to go there, especially as a kid. And then on a Saturday, it was just it was a must do. You had to go to the Broad Street Market to get certain things, and the history of that market is just incredible. And it's still the hub, a major hub of this community. People from all over go there. I just lost a buddy who was my supervisor at the United Way. And every Saturday, his ritual was to go there and get fresh fruits and vegetables. And, then he's recently just passed. And it made me think of the Broad Street Market even before this incident took place. But we did have a fire that was ignited in the Broad Street Market, and that's the aftermath of the piece, the part that's closest to the 6th Street side, and it's the longest. I understand it's the longer of the two parts, and that's a brick building. You're looking at something that's 160 years old, and then to have a ceiling fan, they think, was the culprit. That fan apparently was left on, and it, for whatever reason, caught fire, and it made major damage to that facility. They were able to salvage parts of it, but it's going to take a whole lot of work, a whole lot of money to reestablish it. A lot of water damage, even to the part that did not burn. A lot of smoke damage, just a lot of damage, period. And the real sad reality is that in that particular part of the market, you had at least 35. Look at that roof was gone. You had anywhere from 35 to 60. 35 to 45 of vendors. Whoa, look at that. Man, oh man, and that's a graphic picture there. Yeah, so you can see the magnitude of it. And they have fire trucks from everywhere. I got up that morning and went down. I was listening to a broadcast by another person, and I said, let me go down there and see this. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And man, to see it up close and personal was, I hate to say spectacular, horrifying. That's a better word. Yeah, it was horrifying. This is 2:30 a.m. Look at that. So anyhow, that was a major event here in the Harrisburg area. And all throughout our country, we have things that happen. But you know what, though? Isn't it amazing, though, how people step in and you see the real character of people? There will be people that are going to step in. They're going to clean that place up. They're going to rebuild. They're going to be dedicated. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it happens all the time. Look at this here. This is, once again, the mayor. You see her in the middle there in the blue dress. And then you see all the people, the police officers, the firefighters, everybody assembled. A lot of legislative, people. I see Patty Kim in the white coat there. She's standing there. She's one of our state reps. And there's some others there as well. I don't know all of the names, but folks showed up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, people actually got real emotional. That scene looked like someone was kind of emotional there. There are a lot of folks who spend a lot of time in the Broad Street Market. And last Saturday, a good buddy of mine from Philadelphia come up, and he used to live right there on 3rd Street. And so he hadn't been here for a few years. And he said, hey, man, I called him. He was going to on his way out of town. I said, let's grab a bite to eat. And we ended up at the Broad Street Market. I had not been in the market for months. And all of a sudden, here I was in the Broad Street Market last Saturday. And that was Sunday evening that fire took place. Sunday morning, I guess we would say, that fire took place. It's just an amazing thing. But look at this, all these folks standing outside. And is that before the fire?
Yeah,
Was that
before
something else?
the fire. That was before,
That's
sir.
before the fire. Okay, look at that. I was gonna say, it looks pretty good there. So yeah, okay, that's before. But yeah, look at all the people. I mean, just folks probably just gathered for whatever reason. And it was like that a lot. And then in summertime in particular, yeah, it was jumping. So I hope now what we have to do is have some writers reflect on, time at the Broad Street Market. In fact, I remember, but look at that. That's nice. That's a great picture there. It shows the hustle and the bustle and, people doing different things. And that's real light there. I mean, but hey, that's a beautiful picture. Yeah. Yeah, all kinds of cultures. That's where cultures collided. And a little bit of everything you'll find there in the market. In fact, last Saturday I was having Thai fried rice with shrimp, and it was absolutely excellent. They put something in it like I think a cinnamon or jasmine. It was jasmine in it. Hey, Nanette, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I was all alone, drowning out here, and here you come to rescue me. I appreciate it. I knew somebody had to be coming on here.
Yeah. I was piddling around.
Mhm. I was just reflecting on the Broad Street Market.
Yeah, I heard a little bit. I did hear someone on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then you were the first one. Yeah, I tuned in when you had it. You were live streaming it the night
Right.
it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was a sad moment, I'll tell you. Because I was raised with the Broad Street Market.
There you go. Yes, indeed. We were raised. I would not know his name, but the guy that was the hot dog man who had been there almost 50 years.
Uh-huh.
The first one down near 3rd Street. And boy, he had the best hot dogs in the world as far as I was concerned, Yeah.
Yeah, I went over there today.
Okay.
I went over that morning afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And when the fire marshal and all the newscasters were out there.
Yeah.
And I did talk to the fire marshal and he said, well, yeah, we think it was the ceiling fan. It was electrical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he said it blew up within 6 minutes, he said. It didn't take long. He said because of the wood and because of the oil. I don't know what different oils were there or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they have a lot of people who cook in there.
Yeah.
So there was all kinds of ways that could. In fact, I remember listening to Rafika. That's how I found out about it. I happened to turn my phone on. I always kind of look at my phone before I go to bed. And I just happened to look at it and I thought, what is this? And so I'm listening to Rafika report on this. And I said, oh, no, I got to go down there and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So I jumped up and went down there. And I heard her say that one of the residents that she was interviewing said that they heard an explosion. That's how they knew that something was going on. And they lived close by. But they said, "Bo, you heard the explosion. There was something." But so it must have been, maybe we thought maybe gas at that time, but it was probably some of the oil or something.
Right.
Popped, yeah. So amazing stuff.
Hopefully we'll rebuild.
Oh, they are. They're rebuilding. They already made that pledge. They have some monies. And in fact, Harrisburg right now has a lot of money that they're, making some plans for. So
Right.
they've already said that they're going to give some of that money towards the rebuilding. And then one of the state agencies stepped in already and said they will be contributing some dollars from the state, so it's going to happen. No question about that. I mean, that bad was 160 years old. They can't let it go away. Come on now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, one of the things that happened back in the day when we used to do this quite a bit, when there was a major tragedy, we would write about it. And one of the things that I'll never forget is how we came together at 9/11. And we sat down in the room at the Writers' Workshop on a Friday night, and everybody just started talking, and one person or maybe two recorded what was being said. And so we all spoke in a very poetic way about how that 9/11 affected us. And I'm thinking that, it would be great if we could pull together a cadre of people from the community who would do the same thing about the Broad Street Market, because it really touched a lot of people.
Right.
So we need to write about it, let's write about it.
That night, I mean, after I found out about it and heard about it, it came to me that morning about doing this poem for the Broad Street Market.
All right.
I didn't get up out of my bed and write it down, and it's gone.
Listen, that was that part, but you still got some energy. You just go back and recapture it. I'm telling you. Yeah, and I've done that many times as well. I mean, I'm just thinking of something, it's like, wow, this flow, and I don't write it down. I walk away from it, and it's gone.
I should have got right up then, but
yes,
I didn't.
yes.
My bed was too comfortable.
There you go. Don't beat yourself up. Well, some people use a recorder right by their bed or wherever they may be. Some people just have a pad and they just start writing real quick. I actually tried to use a recorder. It didn't seem the same to me. I don't know why it didn't flow.
The what?
A recorder. I used to try to record myself whenever I had those thoughts.
Okay.
It just didn't seem the same. I don't know why. I thought it would be really, really easy, but no, it's not as easy as it sounds.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, just think about it. Just start talking.
Right.
And you can actually do that with your cell phone. There's a recording device on your cell phone. And so I used to use that. In fact, I still have things on there. I gotta sit back one day and just listen to some of the stuff I did, because until you said that, I had forgot all about that cell phone. But yeah.
Well, I have a little hand recorder.
Okay.
I have one, it runs by these batteries and stuff.
Yeah.
It still works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used to have one. I probably still do. I just haven't thought about it. And that's something. Okay. But what else is going on these days?
Well, I did write something that next day. Good. Because this, I heard on the news about the guy that just walked up to the homeless guy and just shot him in the head. Oh. I thought, oh my goodness, why would he do that? No. Nice looking, handsome guy. I don't know what his background or what he was into or nothing, but I thought that is so senseless. Now he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Yeah. They said they got him when he was getting ready to go to work. I'm thinking, well, what kind of job did he have? I know. And a lot of people recognized him from the video, so they were able to get him. Yeah. So I said, I wrote this little, do I want to call it a poem? Or it's spoken word. That's all it is, spoken word. Okay. That covers a multitude of things. We're good. Okay. I wrote this, on the 12th. So, yeah. And it's called Homeless People. I said, homeless people had a mom and a dad. If you don't want to help or respect them, then leave them alone. Homeless people are human beings with blood running through their veins, like you and I. If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. Homeless people have different reasons why they may be where they are. And if you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. Why would you want to cause harm to, but by the grace of God, could be you? If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. All homeless people don't want to be where they are. Loss of job, mental illness. You just can't, they just can't find their way. If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. Homeless people, the homeless people are growing. It may be hard to help them with all a dollar or two. I'm sorry. If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. Homeless people could be your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your aunt, your cousin, or friend. If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. Homeless people were also created by God, and God loved them too. So be kind and not harmful. If you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone. What kind of person walks up to a homeless person that's asking for money and coldly shoots him in the head? If you don't want to help him or respect them, then leave them alone.
I like it. Listen, that your refrain is really powerful. If you don't want to help them or love them, then leave them alone. That's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And there are people out there who are setting the homeless on fire. They're doing all kinds of stuff to them.
Yeah. It's evil. It's an evil world. It's evil.
But do you know that here in Harrisburg, which didn't make big news at all, that during the 4th of July fireworks, that a group of young kids did a whole lot of craziness. And they said that the target was the homeless people in downtown Harrisburg. Yeah.
I heard that.
They said it turned out to be a real mess, but no one picked up on it the way you thought they might pick up on, like they did last year when someone hollered, gun,
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. This year they said they just started picking out on homeless people and beating them up and running through the streets. They said it was crazy.
I was over there with recycling bikes, and we were right there by the Walnut Street bridge. We were set up there. And then you heard the commotions. You saw them running, the kids running, people running towards us. Well, of course, we just stood our ground. The police were there. They went into there was a lot of policemen. They went into the area where this commotion was coming from. But then I found out it was some girls fighting.
Oh, wow.
Some
girls. That was this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I heard about the girls fighting and about them, like I said, attacking the homeless. That was the thing that this one guy was saying. He said he witnessed it, how they were minding their business. These guys walked up to him and just started beating on them, kicking them, doing all kinds of crazy. What? We got to figure out a way.
Yeah, it was a group of kids that was boisterous and loud.
Oh yeah,
walked past us and stuff. And you could see they wanted trouble.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who their parents are, but
yeah. And sometimes it's the parents, they don't know.
They don't know.
Parents do the best they can, but they hide from their parents. It's the peers. When they get around the peers and they think I got to show off because I want this person to like me or I'm trying to be tough like they are. It's crazy. And we see so many young people who will throw away their lives, not listen to the counsel of the elders, just because they want to fit in,
Right.
And that one moment, that one night of doing all that craziness. I remember a guy who was a really good guy. He's not with us any longer. Unfortunately, his life was cut short. He died at the age of 28. And I'll never forget, he just came from a great family. He was the only child and he had everything he wanted. And so, for whatever reason, he decided to run with the tough guys. And it was one of those things, if you can't beat them, join them. And so he ended up dying in prison. And there was really mysterious circumstances to how he died. But how he got to prison was he was accused of shooting a guy right at 6 and Woodbine Street. And he claimed that it was, his cousin this guy taking his cousin's wife. I mean, it was a real mess. And then he turns around and they're in a speakeasy. And who comes in but that guy? And it goes into a whole thing. And next thing you know, he's accused of having shot this guy. But his whole life was fights, this and that, and he didn't come from that kind of family. His dad was always just shaking his head saying, what are you thinking? Got a scholarship to college, went down, stayed less than a week. I mean, he had a full scholarship, but it wasn't the streets though. It wasn't the streets. And so he came back like all the people down there square. And so you come back here to go to jail. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah. Amazing. How many people would have traded to be in his shoes, to have all the money he had and all of the nice clothes, and even in prison, he had the nice shoes, and that caused problems because people wanted to fight him over shoes. He got his elbow broken because he was playing basketball, and the guys from Philly and guys from Harrisburg squared off. And this guy takes a baseball bat and swings at him. He puts his arm up, boom, breaks his arm. It's like, you don't belong here, man. I go up to visit him with the family, and who comes walking in but 4 guys who were some of the biggest stars around here from Harrisburg, Stilton, And, John Harris, William Penn, Harrisburg, Middletown, all those guys came walking in from a weekend pass. And some of these guys are guys I looked up to who were great ball players, And I'm like, oh, he's here. They had on the blue shirts and, and they were in prison. And I'm like, come on, man, what are you cats doing up here? It was just like a rite of passage. I never get that scene, And I'm sitting there looking at these guys like, man, I used to look up to this dude. I still do in one sense, but it's like, why are you here?
Yeah, but when you look at it from a spiritual sense, you see Satan working, he
right.
knows he has
That's
a short time, and he tried to get you any kind of way he can through your family, your children,
That's
anybody.
Right. That's right.
So to take you out.
You out. Yes. And then the thing about it is, why do you have so many willing participants? Why, and I could never figure that out, I was so many willing participants, people who are just willing to join the fray. Like the Trump crowd to me. I look at all those people, I'm saying, you see Trump saying all this craziness. You see him doing this craziness. He said, I will stand in the middle of, what did he say? Whatever avenue it was. He said, and I could kill somebody and they would still vote for me. He said that.
Yeah.
He's, running for
office. It's true.
It's true. That's the crazy part. Isn't that something?
Yes.
I didn't try to deny he said it. You live in the information age. Of course, they got it on video. Are you crazy? Yeah, it's like, wow. But you know what? We can point at him all we want to. The question becomes, but what about us? Do we have the same attitude? Are we open to the devil? Are we open to sin that would take us to that, that kind of level? Man, that's powerful stuff. So, writers, we are a writing community. We got to write about this stuff. We got to challenge ourselves. And then when we see something, we got to say something. How do we say it? We write about it. We talk about it. We do poetry about it, whatever. But we try to wake up the consciousness of people. And that's why we have an important job to do,
Yes.
And we sing about it. But I don't want to leave out the singing now. Come on, songs have been a part of our lives.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Think about the songs that have come our way that have led us to either the church or to whatever. Music and lyrics. Very, very powerful. Very powerful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to get back. Well, we won't get back to that old time way or that old time religion that they want to say.
I think
our children, this is a different generation that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, a lot of them are just so disrespectful because they haven't been taught. Even in the church sometimes they could walk right by you and it's like they don't even see you and you looking right at them to say, how you doing? And it's like they don't even want to open their mouth. They got so many challenges and so many things that they're going through or dealing with, so I guess it takes a lot of love and it takes a lot of understanding. Because I have a granddaughter, she just turned 17, and she seems to be on like a dark side,
Yeah.
And her mom loves her. She knows she's loved, but it's something that's sort of within her that.
But she's not alone. She's not alone. They're hearing the same. This one guy made this comment. He said, if I'm in Harrisburg and I'm listening to the music, talking about the books that they're doing, he said, I can go all the way to LA. And I could hear the same music, the same books, the same TV programs. He said they're watching the same stuff, talking the same things. Over here, they may call it one thing. Over there, they may call it something else. But it's all about being part of the crowd. He said, and it's really kind of sad that we did it. We did the same thing. Even when you see West Side Story, that came out, in the 60s or something like that? But it was about gangs. There's nothing new. When you go back to the Elliot Ness and all those boys, that's back in the 30s and 40s. It's about gangs, And now you see these kids and we say, oh, that's so disrespectful. But we've had disrespectful people with us for a long time. I thought back, even when I was in high school, and we just celebrated our 50th high school reunion and stuff, 2019. But I remember all the kids who did stuff and I thought, wow. And a lot of them aren't with us right now because they were so determined to go to prison. That was 1960s. You know what I mean? They weren't about the Martin Luther King and all that kind of stuff. They weren't about that at all, And that's the sad reality. The other thing you said is some of them, they're not been taught, but some of them have been. That's the other reality that's so sad. They came out of the church. You were in the church and still you come out doing all this stuff. And I used to work over Camp Hill Prison And I never forget sitting there with, I had 25 men looking at me every Saturday morning for 5 straight years, never missed a Saturday. And Pat, too, she was in the room right next to me. She had 25 men sitting there. And I never forget this one guy. I said, let me tell you something. He said, I'm from Africa. He said, my father's a doctor, my mother's a doctor. I tell the story all the time. And both his sisters were doctors. He said, but me, he said, we moved to Philadelphia. I was determined I was going to get those sneakers. My dad said, you ain't doing it. You're going to college. He said, man, I heard, he said, I was around some of the best people in the world. And you know what I said? He said, I wanted to be with those guys out in the street. He said, and the thing that really got me was, and the reason why I'm sitting in prison now is, I absolutely thought that everybody was square. He said, I thought I was in a movie. He said, when I got up in the morning, I couldn't wait to get out to that street. I couldn't wait to see Jimbo or this guy or that guy. He said, but my father, he was a doctor. My mother was a doctor. He said, I had the finest of everything. He said, so I got to tell you, a lot of us sitting in this room came from really good families. And all those members sitting there like that. He said, we know. He said, we came from religious families. We came from respect. He said, but we were so determined to be a part of that thing, whatever that thing is, you couldn't tell me nothing, He said, it's just the truth. He said, so when the preacher says something to me, he said, I knew the preacher was telling the truth. He said, but I got a home with these guys because that's who I wanted to be with. So, by the way, I interviewed the guy. Yeah. Yeah. I interviewed a guy down in DC and I seen him on TV and I couldn't believe he was the same guy because I said to myself, I'm gonna buy this guy's book. And we go to this conference and I said, that guy looks familiar. So we're talking and everything, he's selling this book. And then I said, wait a minute, I just heard the Karen Hunter show and blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, that's me. And he said, listen, he said, I grew up with LL Cool J. He said, every rapper, he said, what happened to me was I grew up in a middle class home in New York City. He said, but in New York City, it was hot. He said, those cats are rapping and Biggie Smalls, this and that. He said, you wanted to be a part of that, plain and simple. He said, and they used to always look at me and say, man, you don't belong here. What's up with you, schoolboy? He said, they called me schoolboy. He said, because I came from another part of the town. He said, but I made my way over there every time I could. And they were like, okay. He said, I realized I was in trouble when I started hanging around and I became the biggest drug dealer in my area. That I sold drugs like you would believe. And then I got cocky. He said, me and another guy went uptown. He said, we went up to Harlem. He said, I'm standing in an abandoned house. And these guys from Colombia who had these major guns and machetes are looking at us like, we're going to kill you. And the one guy said, why are you here? And he said, well, we came here to buy drugs and this and that. He said, you ain't no drug dealer. He said, he's looking at it. And so they decided they were narcs. And he said, kill them. He said, and the guy was like, and he said, and they had machetes and guns, and all they had to do was take us apart. But for whatever reason, he said that one guy didn't move. And the guys went, and he said, man, let these squares go. He said, we're standing there. He said, and we just started talking like, hey, man, look, blah, blah, blah. He said, we walked out of it with no money because they took our money and no drugs. He said, but we were so glad.
Grace of God.
There you go. He said, we're so glad we lied. He said, but it didn't stop me, though. He said, what happened was I went from there to the next place. God let me out of that room and I thought I'd never get out of there. I go to the next stupid drug, He said, only a judge who looked at me and said, I could either put you in jail or send your butt to the military. What do you want to do? He said, I'll take the military. He said, I'm telling you, he said, I would have never thought that was going to happen. I thought I was going straight to jail. He said, the judge sent me to the military. He said, military changed my entire life. He came out and became the most decorated police officer in all of New York City for that time. He said, I was so into being a police officer to the point where he turned on his officers who were doing drugs. He saw officers doing drugs and decided to squeal on them. He said, so when you see the movie Serpico, that's what that's about. He said, these guys wanted to kill me. They wanted me to send me into a place where I was going to get shot and make it look like, I was being shot by the homeboys. He said, and that's my story. So he broke this thing down. But he said, why did I do that? Went from I'm a privileged guy to I need to be with the crowd. He said, and it was just stupid. Yeah.
Nate, can you center your head up some more?
Oh, I always do that. Yeah,
right there. Because I gotta see your lips.
Oh, okay.
When it's down there, it's some of the words I don't hear.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm so comfortable leaning back and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I never play it right. So thank you for saying that. I'll do my better. But anyhow, but yeah, I mean, stories that we can tell, it's amazing. I was glad you wrote the book because it's a powerful book. And I remember thinking, boy, yeah, why do we live like that? But if he hadn't told the story, there'd be a lot of people said, oh, that's not true. That doesn't exist. But it does exist.
Yeah.
Names and everything. Yeah.
Well, you remember, Nate, when I guess, I don't know if you were a part of it, when we used to meet over at the Williams Grove Park to fight with the girls from York and the guys from York. And
oh my goodness, yes. You kidding me? I never fought that. I never got into that craziness, but I'll never forget. It was this big fight planned between guys from wherever. And I think they were coming down from New York. The guys from Harrisburg. I mean, my cousins and them, that's all they talked about. And everybody's going to get in the cars. We're just going to go over there and all that kind of stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, these guys are crazy. And I didn't get in the car. I said, no, I'm not going over there. And these guys, they couldn't wait to go. And I don't know if anything ever really jumped off to the magnitude that they were talking, but they were packing. I mean, these guys had guns. I mean, that's all the guns, And then they turned around and they pushed this guy down at the Broad Street Market. He hit his head and died. I never forget that. Yep. And they were shaking in their boots because they would just walk around looking for trouble. And they said, whoever this guy was, and that was a long time ago. But I know the guy who pushed him because everybody was like, oh man, listen. And they was up there plotting, planning what they're going to do and this and that. And they had a gang with the Dakotas or something like that. I think the Dakotas or something, I don't know. But they pushed this guy down and the guy died. I mean, they knew he had died because they tried to help him. And then they scattered. And it was all over Hamilton Street. We all knew. Everybody was like, oh boy, what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. We were going to fight the girls from York. But then when they got there and we saw how big they were. I mean, these were like big girls. We made friends.
Y'all were smart.
Yeah, we made friends because these girls were like big. I don't know where they came from.
Well, listen, yeah. I mean, it's crazy how we always breaking bad, always going to hurt somebody. Then you look up and like, well, wait a minute now. You forgot you can't beat everybody. You can't beat it. The other thing is, I remember when they stopped all the fist fighting and started turning to guns and stuff. I remember that transition, how that started.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That was a lot, And it was like, why is everybody packing all of a sudden? And people make it sound like it only happened in the 90s. That was back in the 60s, too, 60s and 70s. Folks were carrying guns, I just never forget that. I thought, whoa, man, no, not me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, when I was in Florida, they made it legal for people to have their guns on them, but they had to be concealed. They made it legal, That was like 3 weeks ago when I was down in Florida. They, passed the law where people could be packing, but they couldn't show it. They had to have it under their shirt or something. So you never know.
You never know. I always think back to the lady. There was 2 white women, and they got into a car crash or near accident or something. And one lady got out of her car and she came back and she was like pointing at the woman saying something. And they said that all the witnesses now, this is a major highway. The woman rolls down her window and then shoots the woman immediately. Yeah. And she gets off because she said, well, I was standing my ground and I thought she was going to attack me. And the witnesses are saying she didn't have a gun, she didn't have anything. She was just fussing at her. And the woman rolled down, didn't say anything. She just pointed that gun out there and shot her point blank. And it's like, and you get away with it? I mean, this is an upside down world, I'm telling you.
Well, look at the lady that shot through her door and killed the 4 kids.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of self-defense is that? You're in your house.
I know.
How are you going to be that scared?
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
The door. Come on now. For the young man who's asking for help, and the guy comes out and shoots him in the head and then shoots him as he's running away. The kid lived, thank God. But yeah, people with these guns. The one that really got me also was the chief of police. He just retired. He's in a movie theater. The movie is getting ready to come on with the previews. It's not even the main event. This guy's on the phone. He's talking, and he's with his wife, and he says, "Hey man, previews getting to come on." He's talking, and so the chief turns around and says to him, "Hey, you mind getting off the darn phone?" He said, "Whoa, wait a minute." He said, just mind your business, whatever. Chief is like 75 years old. This is a young guy. He's not even 30, I don't think. Maybe he's 30. But anyhow, it goes back and forth. And so the man says something to him. The chief turns around, either throws something at him, whatever. And the guy like throws it back. Chief pulls out a gun and shoots him point blank.
Mm.
I mean, just blows him away in a crowded theater. Everybody's like, what happened? A gun sounds like a gun. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the people scrambled and panicked and running. You're the chief of police, for God's sake. At least you were. And to do something like that, come on now. I mean, that's how crazy people. And it only takes an instant to pull it.
Right.
Takes an instant.
Nobody thinks of just shooting in the air for a warning.
No.
Because I'm going to run, or they're going to run.
Yeah.
They don't even think of that.
So back to the
Just
writing
really
part
kill
of it, we have to stop and think before we start. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to challenge all of us. I like that piece you wrote, by the way, especially about the homeless. And what was the refrain again? What was the phrase that you used again? Over and over?
I said, if you don't want to help them or respect them, then leave them alone.
I like it. That's major. That's a good piece. Yeah. So write that up totally out. And let's, why don't you print that? Why don't you submit that to our online magazine? Can you do that?
Online magazine. Let me get a pen and a paper.
Yeah, the Writer's Wordshop. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So all you got to do is if you, and I think if you type it up like in Word, and then, hey, there she goes. How you doing? Lizelle?
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you doing?
All right.
Good.
Good.
So if you type it up in like Word, and then that way she can manipulate it and just send it to her. It's
See, I don't know how to do all that stuff on the computer.
oh, don't you? Okay. Well, if you send it to me, I mean, well, I'm just trying to think. No, send it to her. She'll do it. I'll talk to her and we'll work it out. But
Okay.
here's what you want to send it to. Just send it to Wordshop. I'm sorry, Writers Wordshop online. Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com.
Gmail. Okay.
And just tell her you'd like to submit this poem, can you type it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just type it out and then send it to her. By computer, you can type it out on the computer, send it to her, and then email, and then we'll get it in for you. And make sure
So if I type it out, can I do it on Facebook like?
No, do it. Why don't you just let me see, go to email, so
Just
go
go on to Writers Wordshop and then type.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. Type it out, or if you could type it out and then you send it as an attachment. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
Okay, good. And so
I see Dan Snowden's coming on.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
We got Zell Dan on. Okay, great. And Zell, I'm hoping that you'll send something in for this. We need some, I'd love to have your poetry on for this, what is it, August? It'll come out in August.
Okay.
So, yeah, do you have the email address I just gave you?
Writers
Yeah.
Wordshop. I wrote it down somewhere.
Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. Dan Snowden?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you do the same thing? Can you send a poem in to the Writers Wordshop magazine?
Sure.
Yeah, you want to send it into the Writers Wordshop online at gmail.com. And they need it this weekend. If you could get it in by Sunday, that'd be great.
Okay.
And make sure you have your name the way you want your name, pronounced, or you want to be referred to, and yeah. And if you can send a little 1 to 2 line bio that says Lizelle Powder, author of, artist and author of, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. The same thing with you, Nanette, Nanette Swanson, writer, singer, kind of thing. Dan, same thing. Yeah, so that'd be great. Because that's why we created the magazine, was to have submissions and stuff. And so I know Neil Owens sent a piece in, a short story, and I wanted to get some more poetry in there. I'm sending something in this weekend myself. So yeah, good. Hey, also tonight, I'm going to ask Brother Chris if he'll pull up another video, and We already saw one, and I don't know what you have lined up for us, brother. But did you find anything else but Julia or?
Yes, sir. Did you want to do Julia or did you want to do Keontae? You asked for
Oh, why
both.
don't we do Keontae? Why don't we do, how long, do you know how long they are?
Keontae's is 4 minutes, and I believe Julia's about 2 or 3 or 2 to 4 minutes.
Okay, why don't we do Keontae, come back and have Lizelle and Dan do a piece, and then we'll come back to Julia.
My children, this poem is about to hit home. I was taken from you when you were under the age of 2, wrongfully incarcerated for almost 2 decades, and now I'm finally home and you're grown. Many nights you have spent alone. So many nights I have spent alone, thinking about you, daydreaming in my zone. I became so tired of waiting, fighting against wrongful incarceration. But every time I was ready to give up and give in, one look at your picture gave me strength and motivation to keep going. My babies have always been my motivation. My love for you forced me to keep fighting and find faith in what appeared to be a hopeless situation. Now I'm physically free, but my freedom feels like incarceration. With so many issues I'm facing, mental issues, abandonment issues from my heart breaking, trust issues because the majority of the people that claim to love me were only faking. My heart is often aching, because I'm free and I still rarely see you, often hiding my feelings, therefore no one can see through the disguise. Trapped in obstacle islands, smiling to hide my silent cries. My soul weeps as poverty speaks a language of separation. Most times, the only time that I see you is during dreams and meditation. I have learned to appreciate imagination, as it takes me on a vacation away from reality. Every day my sanity I'm battling, wishing with all of my children I could live, wishing I was able to give you assistance and cover all that you need, wishing that I could learn how to be a good parent, wishing I could believe. My wishes are rarely granted, confused while trying to understand it, uncomfortable. Sometimes I just want to panic and scream. Everything is not what it seems. I feel like an island of lost dreams, as traumas destroy my inner boy. I don't have peace, happiness, or joy. I often feel like a misfit toy, striving not to destroy the relationships that matter. You matter. Your feelings matter, your emotions matter, your perception matter, your ideas matter, your voices matter. You are special. You are amazing. You make me proud. Never give up on you. Please hear me clear and loud. Life. I decree and declare supernatural favor and healing. I speak encouragement and strength, that you will overcome every problem in which you are dealing. I speak a hedge of protection over you. I speak victory in every fashion. I speak the strength for you to worship the Lord, not just the word, but by action. I apologize for not being there. Inside it really makes me sad. But I will continue to strive to be the father in which I wish that I had when I was growing up. I will strive to understand you and to support you, but understand that parenting does not have a manual for us to resort to. You are not alone, even when you feel alone. And I want you to know that I love you with every bit of my heart. And I'm thankful that I am finally home.
Very nice. That's Keontae, brother Keontae Ricks. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate
Nice.
that, man. Good stuff.
That was really nice. I wish I could have that to send to my son who is in prison, who's he talks to his kids and stuff. but he just regrets that he's not here to be in their graduation and watch his son play sports and, go through all that. So hopefully he may get out in the next 2 years.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keontae may be a good person for him to correspond with. Keontae is right here in Harrisburg, and we meet on Thursday mornings. At least we have been. We're talking about moving it to a different day, but we have a men's Christian association that meets for breakfast, and he was out this yesterday with us. He's a good guy, and he helps a lot of guys who are in prison. And
Well,
his wife, by
how
the
can
way,
I reach him?
I'll send you his number.
Okay.
I'll probably what I'll do is hook you up by email. That way you can
Okay.
both talk and decide. Yeah. And his wife, by the way, she created what's called the Young Women's Empowerment Academy, and she has them in Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York. She has her master's degree and everything. Real sharp lady, and she's a partner with one of the insurance companies, New York Life, I think it is. Yeah, so she's sharp. But anyhow, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's his wife's name?
Hold on.
Because I'm dealing with Denise and her daughter Lisa with New York Life.
Well, that is Lisa. That's his wife.
Oh, Lisa is his wife?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his wife. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, and
Is his
Denise
last
is
name
mother-in-law.
What's his
Huh?
last? Liquor?
Rick, yeah, no, Liquor is her last name. She
Oh,
goes by, yeah. Yeah, it's Rick's is the last name now.
wow.
Yeah,
I sat down with her last week.
Yeah, okay.
We're trying to get some things, going with my grandkids' insurance that I'm flipping over.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, wait till I talk to her. And
Absolutely.
Denise, she does the well, she's
food.
helping her out too. Her mom.
Yeah. Yeah, Denise cooks for us a lot of times.
Yeah, she caters and stuff.
Yeah, she does. But yeah, that's his mother-in-law. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait till I
So
talk to her.
let's keep it moving. I'm going to ask Lazille. I'm so glad to see you. Why don't you do a piece for us, and then following you will be Dan Snowden.
Okay. All right, just give me a minute. Let me just make it a little.
Speaking of which, while the Zill's pulling it up, and say this very quickly, we have next Saturday poetry and pastry, right? So tomorrow is the 15th. On the 22nd, we will be from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at 900 South Arlington Avenue. There's the flyer coming up. Thanks to Brother Chris. There you go. Poetry and pastries. And we would love to have you come out. And, it's a free program. And I want to thank Giant Food and Aetna Insurance for sponsoring it. And we're going to do our poetry all morning long and have some pastries and coffee and, what other things? I don't know. We're going to do something. I may never leave the joint. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow.
I'm going to come out, but I'm going to bring my Slim Fast.
Yeah. You keep that to yourself. No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope the poetry.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. All right.
Okay.
This is this poem I wrote is what took place when I left my marital home. So I just have a brief account of what took place. So it's called Our Feet Ran.
Oh wow.
I had to make choices, some good, some bad. A twitching in my head ignited fright, sometimes pain. I watched my children talk amongst themselves. The ambulance came for me. With worried faces, they wondered what next. Leaving them behind like I did before, not having the strength to say, I love you, but I will be back. At the hospital, they looked at me, but wanted to treat me as having a mental disorder, pills, vaccines, and a doctor to convince me what I needed. It was a mental breakdown, a breakdown of troubles and a sad husband.
Excuse me.
I had to regain my strength, feel my way out. I wasn't going to be another statistic of mental madness. I called my friend. She came so fast to take me out, with tears streaming down her face like water gushing from the mountain slopes. She hugged me and then said, "Let's get the children." It was a race against time. After being discharged from the hospital, I called the children and said, "Get ready." It was now or never to escape this treacherous hole, a hole filled with weeds that almost choked me to death. My friend drove so fast as if a road rage was going on. We got to the kids. They were packing. He wasn't there. Amen. Our feet was moving so fast, grabbing stuff from all directions. Time was against us. My friend stood by the door as a watch. We packed stuff and rammed stuff in backpacks, suitcases, plastic bags, shoes thrown, catch and drop, football and play. The only thing was, if he was there, it would have been play ball. 1, 2, 3, hut, run into him. My mind strayed for a moment. Zippers stuck, clothes hanging out from the suitcases, arms holding bags, even mouths. The place was a mess, but we didn't care. All we knew, freedom came, but not sure of the future. As the door closed behind us, it was the last time walking away from these steps, leaving the misery, the pain, the unhappiness behind. It's like crumpling everything like paper that caused the bitterness and throwing it away wherever to rot. It's now or never, no turning back. Our feet moved. We ran as our lives was at stake. The car was packed, all squashed in, even with all our emotions and our fears. The car started as the engine roared and smoke covered the windows. I smiled. I breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't come back to see us leave. As the car drove off, a bit of sadness came over me. It was not to be like this. In America, no one helps you. This is what I was told, but my friend did. She kept on consoling, comforting, and uplifting us, assuring us everything is going to be okay. That's all I needed to hear. I smiled and I thank God for living as the house of pain disappeared into the distance.
Wow. Beautiful. You know what makes that beautiful is so well said. I mean, I was like watching a movie. I could hear everything you said, and it just, you know, wow. And I wish you were here, because we have some young people that are on their way to Boston to participate and compete in the national AXO competition. Mm-hmm. And we were, you know, trying to impress upon them how you have to actually, you know, sell your work. You have to make people feel it, you know? And what you have done so well, especially in more recent months here, is you read with power. You really do. And you make us feel, you know, the work that you're reading. So yeah, it's one thing just to read it. It's another thing to read it and then to hear it like that. That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
All
what I wrote is really true events.
Oh, I have no question. It was, but did that happen here in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when we were living in Garden City, and I had a mental breakdown. Ambulance came and stuff, and my coworker came crying. I told her, because before I used to share stuff, but sometimes when you're talking to someone, you don't want them to know what's really going on, so you share a little snip. And she just said, "Listen, if anything goes wrong, just call me and I will come for you." So when I heard that was like a bell, a ring in my ears to say, I got somebody who could save me if anything happened. All right. So I didn't hesitate at all to call her when I was in the hospital. And she came right away and took us. But we were like packing like crazy, everything all over, grabbing this, grabbing. Wow. Even our mouths was holding stuff and running.
Did he ever try to pursue you after that?
No.
Good, good.
I saw him recently and was, it's like so happy because he went and he remarried over quick. And I say, I wish you all the best. But now he's like, every time he see me, how you doing? Pushing to talk, want to talk, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I say, listen,
Yeah.
yeah, that's done.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that tonight. That's powerful. I'm going to move on to Brother Dan. Nanette, did you have something that you want to say about that piece? I don't know.
No. It was a beautiful piece. Yes. Yeah, I could feel it. I mean, the emotions I could feel,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. Dan, did you have anything you want to say before you read? Dan Snowden? You're muted if you're trying to talk, okay? I don't know. Dan went off last week too. Something might have happened. Maybe something's going on with his internet thing. What I'm gonna do is let me read this piece here from Julia Mallory. I'm just looking at some of the stuff. I was highlighting her book tonight, Black Mermaids. And Julia.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I'm set to read if you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go back to an animal poem here. It's one of the two largest groups of animals that we have on the planet. It's the mollusks. The world has a myriad of mollusks, soft-bodied, attention-getting critters, who live on both the lands and in the seas, as well as give some people the jitters. The gastropods are one type in this group. They are stomach-footed and make much slime. Both the snails with shells and the slugs with none are pests and enigmas at the same time. Cephalopods are next on the list, head-footed but really with many arms. Octopus, squid, cuttlefish, nautilus, all able to squirt ink to escape harm. The bivalves are another mollusk group, two-shelled and the most common type to meet. Clams and oysters and mussels and scallops, these animals are most tasty to eat. Additional mollusks live in this world. To go towards the forefront, they do their best. However, tusk shells, cap shells, and chitons are not simply as well known as the rest. The mollusks are a diverse group indeed, occupying all manner of Earth space. As such, it is possible any day to see one type or other face to face.
Oh, always good rhyming thing, man.
So you said a mullet? What? I'm not sure exactly what animal that is. Is it something you eat?
Well, there's a whole mollusk. It's mollusk. Yeah, look, you see those snails, those octopuses, and those guys with the soft bodies and stuff like that. That's them.
Oh, okay. So I don't
that's
eat
just the
that
group.
type of stuff.
Me either. But I hear you though, and I know a lot of people who do.
I don't do the snails and the mussels and whatever they call them.
Oh, not
Clams.
not clams or oysters either, huh?
Wow.
Good stuff though. That's great. Okay, so Brother Chris, I know you had other things. I'm gonna make sure we get in a couple more videos here. Did you have something else you'd like to share with us? One more with, I think, Julia Mallory, right? Where you go? Mhm.
I want to share another poem, and this one is called For Quiet Black Girls. The world is afraid that your silence is summoning the riot within, preparing to overthrow the tyranny that refuses to see you, invisible until you won't see them, won't bend and lift their cover, won't lift their comfort, carrying it all up on your back. Where do Black women go when they go quiet? A watercolor in her chest, a garden in her mouth. Rest in her mind, building a fortress around her peace in a world that won't show up in the same way, where reciprocity is privilege. Go ahead, Black girl, build a world in quiet. Listen to the God within. Go ahead, Black girl, find your first voice before the world ran interference on your thoughts. Go ahead, Black girl, turn your cape into a pillow. Go ahead, black girl. Start a riot if you choose to. They know you could light a match with your tongue. Go ahead, black girl. Run and we'll follow. And that is for quiet black girls.
Julia was a longtime member, is a longtime member of the Writers Workshop, and she is really doing kind of great things. And again, this is one of her books. She has a number of books. This is the name of her organization also, Black Mermaids. And she does a lot of grief work too. I mentioned at the top of the show that she lost a son who was only, 18, I think 18 or 19. Since this shooting, a woman who I hope she's still in jail, but anyhow, she may not be. But anyhow, yeah, so, that sport created for her a need to do a lot of work around grief, and she's doing a great work with that. In fact, she's spoken to our chaplains group. She's come in and actually read her poetry and talked about the grief that she was dealing with when that first happened. And I was blessed enough to do her son's eulogy, and it was held at the Camp Curtin YMCA. And I will tell you that that community really turned out, and it was like, really just incredible, when a young life is snuffed out like that, it's just, yeah. So anyhow, but she's a great poet and a great person, so I'm glad we were able to hear a bit of her tonight. So, who else has
very, very encouraging.
Yeah.
The Black women. Yeah,
Fantastic.
very encouraging.
Yeah. So, did you have anything that you want to share, Nanette? You did a piece.
Other than it's pouring down rain, it's just like pouring down rain here.
Oh wow, it's not raining where I am. That's amazing.
Oh, my goodness, it's like the cloud opened up and it's pouring down.
Yeah, that happens at times, and we're not that far away from you guys. But yeah, right now nothing. But it's probably coming. Probably coming. Did you have another piece that you want to read, Lazille?
Yeah, I could read
excellent.
one.
Excellent. Okay.
That's no. All right, this one. All right, let me just get it a little bigger. It might be. I don't want to let it be too long, but it's a kind of lengthy one.
Okay.
All right, it's called. All right, it's called Footprints That Never Left the Caribbean Shores. I am from Trinidad and Tobago, 2 islands under one roof, meaning one government. I am still a part of that culture. I hold dear to upbringings my mother taught me. I was the tomboy in the village. Basketball, cricket, football, pick a pan. I didn't care of the bruised knees and missing teeth. I dressed up like the boys because I was part of them. I pitched marbles, ate mangoes, and climbed trees, wore my shoes left to right, even if they laughed. Shoes that grind down till my toe was saying hello. My hair was picky with patches that looked like a resort for ants' nests. It was a different time where togetherness and love was around. Even if your skin was dirty, clothes tattered, no one cared. Saturdays was tripe soup and ballet classes, yes. I walked on my toes in school, and that amazed everyone. They were like, do it again. I was skinny and tall as my 2 knees knocked, as if they talked to each other as neighbors. Sundays was beach, roast corn, and Sunday food. I couldn't ride with my brothers as they were older, but I hanged with the ones that welcomed my rude and inquisitive ways. My mother, rod of correction, was the belt. She used it when she got tired of my annoying cry and rude ways and not learning my work. A single parent mother with 3 kids, she did everything for us. With a father who showed his face in the evening and disappeared at nights. He provided, but it broke my mother's heart when he left. I guess she wasn't a good fit to him again. Because of her condition, I wonder how my mother felt. I was too young to understand, but not too young to see her fight. to cook meals with one hand while the other laid limp as she dragged one foot. She made hot tea with the column floating on the top, and you must drink it all. If you didn't drink it, the rod of correction was your friend. I appreciated her strength, not because she was paralyzed on one side, but because she didn't complain. Maybe she did inside or mumbled to herself. Our clothes were starched and ironed, stepping out to school looking spick and span. She brought home cooked meal and cooked lunch and brought it to the school. It made me happy. I was so happy. The journey to the school by walking was far, but she took her time step by step and made it. Even with a stroke, she worked by washing dirty sheets with her hands at a guest house. It was owned by one of her friends. I didn't like it. I didn't like my mother doing that job, but everyone was nice when I go there. I guess they appreciated her not because of her condition, but she was humble, loving, and kind. I remember that one time I saw bloody sheets. I didn't understand, and I didn't want to. Another stroke took her life. I saw her laying there in the coffin like a beautiful princess awaiting her prince. Her makeup so natural, I saw her beauty. These are some of the memories I remembered. There's a lot more to be told. I always go home. In my mind, I retrace the steps of my childhood. I embrace these memories as they are plastered in my heart. This is my world, my time, my experience. My childhood balanced me to be the woman that I am here today. I am a single mom too, but I am strong, independent, and resilient. My mother will always be my hero. As she rests and sleep in peace till we meet again. Love you, Princess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the way you presented it too.
You're a storyteller.
Yeah.
I hope we can get you back down here. In October, we're doing our international storytelling. And that story alone is worth it. Both of the stories that you told tonight are just outstanding, you know. And the poetry, spoken word, but their stories. And I hope you can come back down.
Yeah.
And Annette, I hope you have. Will you be traveling then, Annette? Will you be traveling in the third Sunday of October? I think it's the
third Sunday in October is. Got my calendar right here.
All right.
I get up by October. The third, that's when the pageant starts on the 15th in Atlantic City.
All right.
Indiana.
Well, that settles that.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Dan? Are you going to be around in October?
Yes, I should be.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, try to put it on your calendar. We'll see what happens. We're going to have, like I said, a really great time. Hope you come out on next Saturday, too. We're going to have the Poetry and Pastry folks out at 900 South Arlington Avenue. And remember, it's down in the dining area. We'll have some signs on the doors that'll tell you how to get down there, real simple. And it's from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. We have some vendors. We're going to have, entertainment. We're going to have just a lot of fun, music and poetry, of course. And so we'll have a lineup of poets, and whoever wants to participate will participate, you know. And I may be able to, we'll see, Bazille and others, if we can have it, set up where we can have a, computers hook up. We can actually hear from you if you wanted to come on, from New York. I'd have to come all the way down here. And that'd be great. We'll see. We'll work it out. Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, I was wondering, Nate, what Dan thought about the market situation.
Oh, okay.
Dan.
Are you talking about what happened with the Broad Street Market and all?
Yes. Did you write a poem yet?
On that one? No, but I think I could. All I'll do is put the right elements in and I could write one.
Okay.
In fact, that's the thing I'll do then.
Like I was telling Nate, something was coming to me, but I didn't want to get out the bed and write it down. And now it's all gone. It's all gone. I should have got up when it came to me. You know, it was so clear, but I was just too comfortable in my bed. I didn't want to get up and start writing.
Hey, next time, break out that recorder. Come on now. You know you got one. Break it out. Yeah, I don't know if the Zil knows it, but we have this Broad Street Market that's been around since 1863. And
Wow.
all of a sudden it caught on fire. Yeah. And it was a major event here because so many people go there every week. You know, it's open like 3 or 4 days a week, and people come from all over. The farmers do to sell their goods, and it's just been a hub of Harrisburg. And so there you go. That's what it looked like before it burned. And that's just one part of it. It's in 2 sections, and it's like a city block long. And then the first part caught on fire. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really
Was the brick market in this case? The
Yeah, the
stone was
right. Uh-huh.
It's the brick
Yeah,
one.
uh-huh.
So they said the foundation is pretty stern or
Good, sturdy.
yeah, pretty solid.
Uh-huh.
So that's why they're going to be able to rebuild it maybe sooner.
Yeah, yeah.
There it is now.
Yeah, that's how it looks now. Yeah.
Oh,
that
wow.
one part, yeah.
The whole roof.
Yep. It really burned.
Hmm.
It really burned. Huh. Yeah. So Boundaries by Julia Mallory. Let me read this piece real quick before we run out of time here. What time do we have, by the way? It is now, okay, we have about 9 minutes left. Boundaries is the poem. It says, there's a thin line between love and envy, between admirers and enemies. The negatively bound are forgiven, for that's what the brain was designed to do. I'm not even offended at dissenting opinions, because life eats the thin-skinned, and I'm comfortable in the skin I'm in. Walk a mile in my shoes, I fit the 4-inch pair I'm in. What are you bound to? Whose imagination created you? What would the old you miss? What does the new you cherish? My battle scars are the evidence of wisdom, and when I'm kicking positivity, I'm merely working against my evolutionary urges. I've been journeying, scaled some mountains, crashed into some roadblocks, only to conquer me. I'm bound to the berg. I'm south side dreaming, proud of my travels. This is what you get when you unpack me, because if you knew me when you didn't know when I transformed, yet I don't need the accolades. Please don't adorn me. Hard-headed. How many times did they warn me? Side-eyed, and how many times did they scorn me? Scarlet letter A me. I'm bound to growth. This is me growing up, the past somewhere sick, throwing up, Jeffersonian, moving on up. Despite ambitions that defy gravity, I'm still working through issues of childhood depravity. When the cinepaths are firing, I'm not angry. That's curated fury from years of practice on my axis, always evolving. But this isn't fate, but life justified. I wasn't born with wings, but I will angel these arms towards dreams. What would the old you miss? What does the new you cherish? What are you bound to? What are you bound to? And that's how that ends. Interesting.
Nice.
That's Julia Mallory called Boundaries. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Again, I celebrate Julia tonight. I thank her for having been a part of, what we've done over the years. And, I wish her well in all the things that she does. Good piece. Don't forget too that we have a number of things coming up. I do want to say again, we're still looking for articles and submissions to the Writers Wordshop online magazine. If you are interested, anybody out there watching this program, whether you be live or you see this later in recording, remember, you just send your article or your poetry or your essay or even an ad, if you want to take out an ad, to Writers Wordshop Online at gmail.com. Okay. And Sarita Henderson will get it and make sure that it is included in this issue or the next issue that is coming out. And we're looking forward to having your works be a part of the Writers Wordshop Online magazine. One thing I didn't mention is we are in the process of creating a monthly retreat, writers retreat, where it will be a consistent thing where writers that want to come go down to Elizabethtown College, to the Bowers Writers House, and that's not that far. It's only like 15 to 20 minutes away from here at Harrisburg. And we have a whole house that's a beautiful facility. And, we bring food in, we eat, we talk, and we write. And then after writing, we share. And we've had a great time over the last couple of years being a part of the Bowers Writers House. So please, whatever you do, thank you, Jesse Waters, who's executive director of that, and also a great poet, by the way. Thank you for opening up the doors. We also will be in November down at Penn State Harrisburg. We've already been, given the opportunity to go there, thanks to attorney and PhD Shantae James, who is an excellent writer, and she has a book out called Murder, about campus life and a murder that takes place. It's a fictional piece that, she's knocked it out the park too. She's written a number of books, some scholarly, but this one is a fiction, a piece that, she's doing some good stuff with. Anyhow, we'll be down at Penn State Harrisburg in November, and I think it's the second Saturday in November, and we're hoping to have a great time in our writers retreat. December, the second Saturday in December, we're hoping to have our pre-Kwanzaa celebration that we've had now for the last 20-something years, and we're hoping to have it at the Harrisburg High School Gymnasium like we did last year. That's still, to be determined, but we're hoping to have that. And it's usually a full day. We usually go from like 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. And we have vendors galore. We have all kinds of entertainment nonstop. We have a fashion show. We have a stilt walker. We have African drum and dance. We have vendors, and we have an awards program as well. So it's going to be a good time. You definitely come out to all those, okay? So if you ever want more information, always look on my page, Facebook page. Just go to Nathaniel Gadsden, Gadsden, and scroll down and you'll see the various things that we have coming up. But you can also catch all of these events on Nicole Wilkerson's page. She does Nicole is Making It Happen, on Sarita Henderson's page and others as well. Okay? Okay.
So November the 11th, that second Saturday,
Yeah.
it's Veterans Day. You might want to write something about Veterans Day.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that might be. Okay. I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure somebody will. Absolutely. Well, Brother Chris, you did us good again, man. You really appreciate all that you brought up and that kind of thing. Anybody have anything that's coming up? What's going on up in New York? Is there anything that we need to know about, or have you been invited to do anything?
There's this African museum, not where I live, but I went to pay a visit and I carried some of my stuff, my artwork and poems and stuff, so that I could be part of whatever they do. And I realized they didn't contact me in a while. So I went there recently, I think Wednesday, I went there to connect and stuff. And I met with the curator, well, the person who is like the director. And while we were speaking, he said he will contact because they want to change up the art gallery and bring more artists in to put up their artwork.
Okay.
He told me keep that in mind. But while we were speaking, he eventually said, but I have to ask you something. He said, this is not pertaining to art. I'm a filmmaker. I make movies.
Wow.
He said I was working on a script and I need help writing a script. Would you be able to help me write a script? Have you ever written a script before?
That's great.
Oh, doors are opening. Doors are opening, girl.
So I said, no, I haven't written a script, but my friends would say, Lisa, you need to write more. You need to, they keep telling me about that same thing. Writing script, getting my paintings on walls and doing murals, all different things.
You can do it. You can do it.
So wonderful. Today he reached out to me and he sent me the script.
Oh, wow.
Take a look at it and He wants to get it started right away. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's right. That's exactly who you need to call on. Your God.
I can see it.
That's
I
right.
see it.
Listen, this is the hope and the dreams of your ancestors.
Wow.
This is it, you know. So step into it boldly, you know.
You
that's
can
good
easily
stuff.
do it. You can easily do it, Lizelle.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, it is 9 o'clock, that magical hour. I want to thank you all for coming on, as always. And I hope that everyone that watched the program will be blessed. And, you know, come on out to the events that we have. And whatever you do, keep making this community a better place. And your community is wherever you are, okay? God bless everybody. See you
I'll
next
be
time.
praying for you, Lizelle.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
Yes, indeed.
That's great.
Good night,
I'm
Dan.
happy.
Yes,
Good night, everybody.
everyone.
All right. Okay.
Take care.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I always like to listen to this music. It has such a jazzy.
Yeah.